My name is Chloe Walters and I did my master's program with Alcoa and Murdoch University. The project was aimed to study the use of underpasses, so wildlife tunnels and water culverts, by feral cats and native wildlife. By better understanding the role that underpasses play, we can prevent habitat fragmentation by encouraging animals to move beneath the roads and prevent roadkill. The two different types of culverts we were looking at were wildlife tunnels, which were specifically designed to encourage animals to move beneath roads. And we also looked at water culverts as well, because even though these are designed for water, animals can also use them to pass beneath roads. These were positioned either under a haul road, a bitumen access road, or the conveyor strip. We set up motion-sensored cameras at each opening of the underpass, and this was to track whether animals went all the way through using it as a thoroughfare, or whether they went in and out the same side or just remained at the entrance. This was also paired with another camera further out in the forest to provide a comparison of the animals that were in the forest compared to the ones at the underpasses. We were naturally expecting cats to use these underpasses. Feral cats have such a detrimental impact upon Australian wildlife, and if we can target underpasses as potential lures for cat control, this will reduce the time, cost and effort involved in management elsewhere. There were actually a lot of surprises with the feral cats themselves. So in total, we had about 220 independent detections of feral cats across underpass and forest sites, but 97% of these were at the underpasses, which is very significant. We also noticed that there was one feral cat which regularly moved between underpasses about 5 kilometres apart, so definitely knew its way around. We also noticed that there was a feral cat that took refuge at the entrance of an underpass out of the rain for 49 minutes, which possibly suggests that they're using it for shelter. We also discovered that feral cats didn't go inside the underpass when there was water on the ground. Some native species went through, so like Wicali, which are the water rats, they were detected more at underpasses which had water because they're attracted to this feature. Echidnas sometimes went through as they are able to swim. We were hoping to find underpass characteristics that would support an underpass design for many species, but what we actually found was that these underpass characteristics are quite species specific, and this is an opportunity for future research. We came out every 6 weeks to service the cameras, so that was changing batteries, collecting SD cards with all the photos. In total, we had 64 cameras set up. This was 2 cameras each end of the underpass, each paired with another camera further out in the bush, and we had 16 underpasses in total that we studied. The fieldwork component took 4 months from late May to late September, but the overall project took 1 year. When I was out in the field, I had Alcoa helpers with me, and it was a very smooth and such a supportive environment, and it made fieldwork a lot more easier and a lot more fun to do. One of the challenges doing the fieldwork was actually trying to walk through the stream zone vegetations to where I had set up my cameras. Those areas can get very thick with vegetation, and it makes it very hard to walk through when you're carrying tape measurers, files, papers, batteries and cameras, and it was quite humorous at times. One time it took about 20 minutes to find the camera that we had set up out in the forest. It was in a very thick vegetation area, and we were just walking around in circles just trying to find this camera, and eventually we did, and it was a big celebration when we did. But then we had to find our way back, which was also a challenge in itself. Following the fieldwork, I had all my images that were from the cameras, and it was quite a long process sorting through them and identifying different animals in the photos. I also distinguished different cats based on their markings, and once I'd collected all of that, it was a long process of coding and producing all my statistics. From the fieldwork, we'd actually identified 11 native species using the underpasses, and we'd also identified 5 introduced species. What was interesting was seeing the change from winter into spring. As spring came, we noticed more reptiles like snakes and bobtails moving in the underpasses, but also at the same time, fewer cat detections, possibly due to prey availability out in the forest. Well, when I set out to do this master's project, I was hoping to make a real difference, and with the results that we've got, I'm really excited for where this could lead to. There's currently a project underway to study the effectiveness of feral cat management at these underpass sites, now that I've identified that cats are more frequently occurring here than we think. And I think this will be a really progressive way to help protect native Australian wildlife and remove feral cats from the environment.